where do you think, or where do you suggest where life begins? Is it in the womb? Is it when you are delivered? Is it, when do you, when does the soul enter the body?
Now you're assuming things.
Well, I've heard from very, I mean, whatever my learning
No.
and conditioning, as you can call.
Now I'm talking about you and me and people here. Now you're bringing an other person called soul.
Yes.
Let us use the word life because the word soul is heavily contaminated. People are finding soulmates. It's very clear it's very, very clear. Your body needs a mate, your mind may need a mate. But the soul, if it is absolute, it definitely will not need a mate, isn't it? But so many things happen. Let's call it life.
Okay.
It's less corrupted word. So the life that you are, the person that you are is different. The person that you are is the making and molding of many things that have happened around you, the impacts that life has had on you, external life has had on you. But the life that you are, which keeps all this going, this has come with a certain information. If it runs out of the information or the software is gone, then this life exits the body because its term is over. But if its term is still on, but you break the body for some reason, now it exits. When it exits like this, now the reverberance of life is at a higher pitch. It should not have left, but it has left. Now for this life, a lot of things have to be done, otherwise you will leave it in the wild and it will go on. What would have been, let's say, if it lived in this body, maybe in another 3 years or 5 years it would complete its term. But without a physical frame, this 5 years may become 500 years. Why I'm saying this is, time matters to you only because you're physical. Right now if you sit here, now this session is for 2 hours only because you have a body. Because in 2 hours, it wants to go to the toilet, it wants to drink, it wants to eat, it wants to do so many things. Suppose you had no body, we could make this 2 centuries session, 2 millennia, what's the problem? Time is a consequence for you only because you're physical, because you gathered your physicality. If you did not gather physicality, time would mean nothing, space would mean nothing. So, when you leave the physical frame, now time and space does not mean anything. But because of this, because the reverberance is still there, it can go endlessly.
No, when you say you leave, you almost assume, and that's where probably ordinary person cannot relate with. When you say you leave, as if you have the choice to leave. You said that this guy, this life decided because of accident or whatever to leave. This life did not decide. At least the way we see our loved ones around us, we see somebody else decided, some happening decided. And well, there are other kind of deaths one hears about, the samadhi and conscious dying. Probably that's not the kind of dying this is. This is an accident. Also, I would like you to explain what is a stillborn baby? What is the lifespan of that which is stillborn? Now, where that manifestation gone? Where is that prarabdha gone?
Now, let us look at the varieties of death. The menu, death menu. Because just today morning somebody sent me a mail saying that someone has opened a death cafe in UK. So let me give you the death menu. The different ways a human being can die is, before you're out of your mother's womb, you could be aborted. Abortion is one form of death. The next is, you can call it stillbirth, it could have happened beyond a certain time. This, after conception has happened and life has entered this, somewhere between 40 to 48 days, that is when it becomes alive. I don't know what the medical opinion is. Are there any doctors here? Huh? 35 days. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm saying this from my personal experience. It's 40 to 48 days, that's a space where you enter. There are some lives which enter later. Suppose, see, this is something a woman or a mother could feel if we train her a little bit. If she sees that a life entered beyond 48 days, then you're delivering somebody truly special, because this life will take time to settle in. Some phenomenal life is on the way. You have heard somebody sees, Gautama's mother, and this man says, "You are going to deliver a phenomenal being." Somebody looks at Yashoda and says to the mother, "You are delivering a phenomenal being." This is simply because when you notice, after 48 days of conception, still life has not entered, but enters a little later than that, this means you are expecting a phenomenal being to arrive. Why it is so? If I go into the intricacies, it'll take you somewhere. But normal life enters somewhere between 40 to 48 days. Now, after this, for some reason, after all, womb is a manufacturing unit of this body. For some reason, if the body did not form itself appropriately for that life or for any life, then the life chooses to exist before it's delivered. So this is a stillborn baby. Or sometimes, because of whatever compulsions, a mother may choose to abort the child. That is another form of thing. But in these things, the engagement with the body for this life truly begins somewhere approximately between 84 to 90 days is where really life gets engaged. Till then, it's foraging, it is looking if this is suitable, if this womb is the right place. This is not a conscious thing, this is an unconscious tendency-wise, it is seeing if it matches by tendencies. The appropriate word for this is, traditionally, we call this vasana. Depending upon your vasana, you're looking for an appropriate body. So, though it is partially engaged, it can exit before 90 days, between 84 to 90 days, the life gets properly engaged. From then on, it's a proper baby. From then on, it's a proper life. After that, you should not disturb that, you must nourish it. It doesn't matter in what context it has happened.